Have you ever had the feeling that something out there remembers you? Not just recognizes you, remembers you. Because for crows, memory is survival. And if you wrong one crow, there's a chance an entire murder of crows could remember your face for years. Scientists once tested this idea with masks. What happened next felt less like animal behavior and more like revenge. People who wore a specific dangerous mask were dive-bombed by crows, screamed at, followed, harassed. Not for days, not for weeks, for years. Even stranger. Young crows that had never seen the original event somehow learned to hate the mask too. No one taught them directly. The grudge spread socially, like a warning, passed through generations, and that raises a disturbing question. When a crow stares at you, what exactly does it remember? For centuries, crows have appeared in myths as omens, messengers, tricksters, even judges between life and death. Ancient cultures feared them, worshipped them, listened to them, maybe because humans sensed something unsettling long before science confirmed it. Crows are watching, learning, remembering, and unlike most animals, they almost never forget. What makes this story so chilling isn't just that crows recognize human faces. Dogs can do that, parrots can do that. Now, what shocks scientists is the emotional persistence behind it. Crows don't simply identify threats. They appear to assign meaning to individuals. They decide who is safe and who is dangerous, and once that label is attached, it can stay there for years. Researchers at the University of Washington conducted one of the most famous experiments ever performed on wild crows. The setup seemed simple. A researcher wearing a caveman-style mask trapped and banded several wild crows for a short period before releasing them unharmed. Another researcher wearing a neutral mask behaved normally and never bothered the birds. Then the scientists waited. Soon, crows began scolding and mobbing the dangerous mask wearer whenever he appeared. They swooped low, called loudly, gathered reinforcements, but the real surprise came later. The hostile behavior didn't fade. Even years after the original trapping event, crows still reacted aggressively to the same mask. Some of the birds attacking had never even experienced the capture themselves. Yet somehow, they already knew the face was bad news. Scientists realized something extraordinary was happening. Crows were not only remembering individual humans, they were teaching those memories socially. Imagine that for a moment. A bird sees a dangerous person, then warns others, and those others remember too. That means one negative interaction with a crow might not stay between you and that bird alone. It could become community knowledge. And crows live in complex social groups where information spreads fast. In crow society, survival depends on paying attention. Who found food? Who died recently? Where danger appeared? Which human can be trusted? Their brains are astonishingly advanced for birds. In fact, relative to body size, crow intelligence rivals that of great apes in several cognitive tasks. They solve puzzles, use tools, understand water displacement, recognize patterns, plan ahead. Some researchers compare certain crow abilities to those of a 7-year-old child, but memory may be their most unsettling skill, because crow memory is not passive, it is emotional. Studies suggest emotionally charged events create stronger, longer-lasting memories in crows, especially events involving danger or betrayal. And from an evolutionary standpoint, that makes perfect sense. A crow that forgets a predator dies. A crow that remembers survives. Over thousands of generations, natural selection rewarded birds capable of building detailed mental maps of threats. Humans became part of those maps. And unlike many animals, crows thrive around people. They watch us constantly from rooftops, power lines, trees, parking lots, highways. Most humans barely notice them, but crows notice us. researchers observed that crows can distinguish between friendly and hostile humans based on repeated interactions. Some birds even approach humans who regularly feed them, while continuing to avoid or harass people associated with negative experiences. In Japan, crows have learned traffic patterns. They place nuts on roads, wait for cars to crack them open, then retrieve the food when traffic lights stop vehicles. In some cities, crows use pedestrians as shields against predators. They adapt quickly, study routines, exploit opportunities, which means they are constantly gathering information about the humans around them. And information is power. But here's where things become eerie. Crows don't just remember enemies, they sometimes appear to mourn their dead. Scientists noticed groups of crows gathering silently around dead crows in what looked disturbingly similar to funerals. At first, researchers assumed the birds were simply reacting to danger, but closer observation revealed more complexity. Crows inspect bodies carefully, call loudly, sometimes stop feeding temporarily. Researchers now believe these gatherings help crows learn about threats in the environment. A dead crow becomes a lesson. What killed it? Where did it happen? Is the danger still nearby? Again, memory becomes survival. Everything in crow society revolves around remembering, and humans are deeply embedded in that system. Their vocalizations are incredibly sophisticated. Different calls can signal food, danger, location, or social status. Researchers have documented specific alarm calls associated with particular threats. When one crow identifies danger, nearby crows often respond immediately, even if they haven't seen the threat themselves. That creates a distributed intelligence system. One crow learns, the group adapts, and over time, those memories can persist across generations. Young crows observe older birds reacting to certain humans and appear to inherit those social judgments. This phenomenon is known as social learning. It exists in many animals, but crows perform it at an extraordinary level. In essence, crows may possess something close to cultural memory. Neuroscientists studying bird brains made another shocking discovery. Crow brains are organized differently from mammal brains, yet they achieve remarkably similar cognitive outcomes. For decades, humans assumed advanced intelligence required a primate-style brain structure. Crows shattered that assumption. Despite lacking a neocortex like ours, their brains evolved dense neural networks capable of sophisticated reasoning. In some tests, crows outperform monkeys. They can bend wires into hooks to retrieve food, store tools for future use, recognize themselves in mirrors under certain conditions, and perhaps most unsettling of all, they seem capable of assessing fairness. In controlled experiments, crows reacted negatively when treated unequally compared to neighboring birds. That hints at something deeper than instinct, something social, something emotional, which may explain why their grudges feel so personal. When humans think about animal memory, we often imagine simple associations. Dog equals food, cat equals danger, but crow memory appears layered, contextual, social, emotional. A crow may not merely think, "That human trapped me." It may think, "That human cannot be trusted." And trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. People who rehabilitate injured crows sometimes report the opposite effect. Birds that received care occasionally return later with gifts, buttons, coins, bits of metal, tiny shiny objects left near humans who helped them. Scientists debate whether these are intentional gifts or simple object-sharing behaviors, but the stories persist worldwide. Crows remembering kindness, crows remembering cruelty, always remembering. There's a reason humans are fascinated by them, and they blur the line between wild instinct and conscious thought. When a crow watches you from a tree branch, it doesn't feel empty, it feels deliberate, like there's a mind behind those eyes evaluating you. And scientifically speaking, there is. One study found that crows exposed to threatening humans showed increased activity in brain regions associated with fear and memory. Their reactions weren't random panic, they were targeted responses connected to stored information. The birds were recalling previous experiences and acting accordingly. That's astonishing for any non-human animal. But perhaps the most haunting detail is this: crows can live a very long time. Wild crows may survive over a decade. Some captive corvids live far longer, meaning a single negative interaction could potentially remain in a crow's memory for much of its life. And because those memories spread socially, the impact can outlive the original bird entirely. A grudge becomes tradition, a warning becomes culture. In human terms, it's almost as if crows maintain oral histories. Stories about danger passed from one generation to the next, all centered around faces, your face, and maybe that's why encounters with crows feel different from encounters with most animals. A deer runs away, a pigeon ignores you, a squirrel startles and disappears, but crows watch. They hold eye contact, track movement, follow patterns. Sometimes they even seem curious about us. Researchers studying urban crows noticed birds recognizing individual schedules. Certain crows learned when garbage trucks arrived, when school children left building, when specific people walked through parks carrying food. The birds adapted their behavior with almost frightening precision. Some scientists believe crow intelligence evolved because social life is incredibly demanding. To survive in crow society, individuals must remember alliances, threats, family relationships, dominance, hierarchies, and environmental information. That cognitive pressure may have driven the development of advanced memory systems. In other words, crows became intelligent because remembering mattered. And once intelligence reaches a certain threshold, emotions may follow naturally. Fear, trust, suspicion, maybe even resentment. Of course, we should be careful not to project fully human emotions onto animals. Scientists still debate how closely crow feelings resemble ours. But there's no debate about the behavior itself. Crows remember. They learn socially, and they alter future behavior based on past experiences. That combination is incredibly rare in the animal kingdom, especially among birds. Yet corvids, the family including crows, ravens, magpies and jays, repeatedly astonish researchers. Ravens can plan for future events. Scrub jays remember where and when food was hidden. Magpies recognize themselves in mirrors. Again and again, these birds demonstrate mental abilities once believed uniquely human. So maybe the real story isn't that crows hold grudges. Maybe the real story is that crows possess something much closer to reputation tracking. A mental database of social experiences: friend, threat, neutral. And once you enter the threat category, escaping it is difficult. There are documented cases of people being harassed by crows years after harming one accidentally. Even after moving locations or changing clothing styles, the birds recognized them. The face mattered most. Facial recognition software is one of humanity's most advanced technologies. Crows evolved their own version naturally, and they use it every day. Right now, somewhere outside, crows are watching thousands of humans pass beneath them. Most faces blur together, but certain faces stand out. The dangerous ones, the helpful ones, the unforgettable ones. Scientists believe this ability offers huge survival advantages in urban environments. Humans can either provide food or pose lethal threats. Distinguishing between individuals increases survival odds dramatically. So evolution rewarded crows capable of remembering us accurately. The result is an animal uniquely adapted to human civilization. not domesticated, not dependent, but deeply aware of us, which creates an unsettling possibility. As cities grow larger and more crowded, crows may know more about human behavior than we realize. They observe our routines daily from above. They study reactions, learn patterns, share information socially. And unlike humans, they never stop paying attention. Maybe that's why ancient myths linked crows to prophecy and knowledge. Across cultures, they became symbols of memory, intelligence, death, and hidden truths. Norse mythology placed ravens beside Odin, carrying information from across the world. Many indigenous traditions viewed crows and ravens as creators, tricksters, or messengers. Even modern horror films use crows to create unease instantly, because somewhere deep in human psychology, we recognize intelligence when we see it, especially intelligence that sees us back. And perhaps that's the final reason crow grudges disturb us so much. Not because crows attack people, but because their behavior feels eerily familiar. Memory tied to emotion, social gossip, reputation spreading through communities that mirrors us. In crows, we glimpse a form of intelligence evolving along an entirely different path, yet arriving at strangely human conclusions. Remember danger, warn others, and never forget betrayal. So the next time a crow stares at you from a rooftop or tree branch, consider the possibility that you are not looking at a simple bird. You're looking at a mind that may recognize faces, judge intentions, share information socially, and carry memories for years. Because in the world of crows, every interaction matters, and once a crow decides who you are, that story may follow you forever.